here today with Stathis, founder and president of branding.aero, to talk about sensory biometrics. Could they be the key to improving the passenger experience? So, hi Stathis, how are you?
Hi, I'm doing great. Thank you so much for this opportunity. And it's great reconnecting with you and all our viewers and followers.
Great, well, we're very pleased to have you.
Thank you.
So to start, perhaps you could just tell me a little bit about your background and why you think sensory biometrics should be used more within our industry.
Sure. I have a mixed background ranging all the way from design and design features to brand experience, all the way to neuroscience, basically because everything is pieces of the same puzzle. And I've always been intrigued by how consumers, in this case passengers, think and how we make sense of the world around us. And in this case, onboard service, onboard hospitality, and how we make sense of everything. Neuroscience studies basically the human nervous system, and it's a multidisciplinary science that brings together biology, psychology, physiology, biology, and other areas of study that looks into neurons and neural circuits. So we basically learn and understand how behavior, memory, and perception actually work. Now, the studies over the last few years have actually expanded exponentially to include individual neurons regarding imaging, sensory elements, and cognitive tasks in the brain. But what we're particularly interested in here is the cognitive and behavioral neuroscience. In other words, we can now address abstract questions such as how a passenger thinks or what a passenger prefers, for example, in an onboard environment, and how they recognize the different products, the different airline brands, the meals and the menus in front of them, how they may get delighted on the amenity kit they get. In other words, how cognition and emotion work in passengers.
Maybe you could just sort of tell me a little bit about how this would really add value to our industry.
The concept of sensory biometrics is gaining a lot of attention in the airline industry, and a lot of associations as well as clients, airlines that I've worked with are really focusing and planning, a more engaging experience, primarily on board. And this becomes really important, if not vital, in the passenger contact areas of someone's journey. So revisiting and enhancing those passenger contact interactions can really create a differential value. I mean, onboard hospitality has come a long way, but still a lot remains to be done in order to meet and excel even travelers' expectation. So how it really works is by using sensory biometric data that is often collected using a few different neuroscientific hardware devices such as electroencephalography or magnetoencephalography and galvanic skin response, eye tracking, face recognition, and others. And using a combination of those tools ensures validity and depth of findings. So these tools basically measure the different chemical changes in the brain and heartbeat rhythm, oxygen level, and other physiological variations. Now we take this data and we translate it, and this allows us to identify any physiological changes that happen to passengers throughout their journey as customers. It's often the small things and passenger preferences that have an enormous impact. So by doing such research and basically testing at the prototype phase, amenity kits, menus, plating of meals, and others, we can now reduce possible confusion of the passengers, test and design and redesign again those prototypes so that the final prototype is the one that has the wow factor and basically engages passengers more. At the same time, explore passenger intentions and plan accordingly. And this could actually be a great scenario for onboard sales, for example. So all the different items on sale on the onboard magazines, which of course we haven't seen because of the pandemic, but soon, these are going to go back on the planes, or being able to look at them from the comfort of our home through our handheld device. Even planning and designing where each onboard item goes, and the catalog can actually tells us how passengers are going to interact and how passengers are going to view it.
Maybe you could just go a little bit more into the sort of technical details of how it works and how that data is collected.
Absolutely. A powerful test is that of understanding the onboard service experience in our case. So items that affect passengers, such as hard and soft products, can contribute to the creation of an engaging experience. So we could have onboard service tests that can provide deep insights of each aspect of the experience, such as lighting, temperature, comfort, seat comfort, all the way to menu and menu design, and things like that. So measurable details may reflect initial attention and reactions, such as how is the boarding process? How about navigation in the cabin? Any wow factors? Even things such as noise factors. There's a crying baby behind me, or I'm seated by the engine and the loud is really, the noise is really loud. Furthermore, specific attention to part of the experience, such as recognition of intended and unintended part of the situation, such as when the hotel walls are distributed, are they scented, unscented, all these subliminal messages that come across, or the way that a cabin crew member is presenting herself or himself. It's all these little small things that we can now make sense of. So in a live onboard test, passenger emotional reactions are measured exactly as she or he experiences the service. And this form of testing defines the onboard service environment and experience in ways that no other testing can do. And I just explained one aspect of a testing environment. In this case, I was referring to a live testing environment. This can also be done in more of a static environment, such as a mock-up cabin, or if we're talking about onboard hospitality providers, companies that design amenity kits, blankets, pillows, anything that a passenger uses on board. This can also be done through a focus group and through face-to-face testing with a group of test subjects at the location of, let's say, the airline or the onboard hospitality provider. Ideally, and that's how we work on it, is basically doing the different various tests and basically cross-listing them and tabulating them with live testing, so we know exactly how somebody may feel in the comfort of their home or in a safer environment using the product versus on board the plane, mainly because there are a lot of different other factors that could change someone's experience on board versus doing the test in a lab environment. One more final thought is that sensory biometrics are here to stay. A lot of people are talking about safety and security biometrics, yet I think what's really, really important is how we can dig deeper into the emotional state of passengers and understand, like no other way, the service experience, intent to recommend, and message effectiveness. Thank you.
No, thank you.